Babylon, the bases of many kings. Yah's name is gone. We are the mighty Yehudim. Lions of Yah, praise Yah with me. The righteous, Yah, the holy, Yah, the creator, Yah, the only, Yah, the righteous, Yah, the holy, Yah, the creator, Yah, the only, Yah. He is our King, our Savior, and our Judge, Yehudim. Yahweh is righteous. He is our King, our Savior, and our Judge, Yehudim. Yahweh is righteous. It's gonna be a new day. It's gonna be a new way. You must think that you're our King, Yehudim, fourth tribe ENT. It's gonna be a new day. It's the beginning of a new way. You could never be our King, Yehudim. Rap Yah with me. It's the dawn of 400 years, 400 years since you stole our names. 400 years since Willie Lynch made the slave. 400 years and we still remain. 400 years of living with Cain. 400 years and we still a slave. Slaving on the job, slaving on the block, slaving in the jail and in our hearts. We are the mighty Yehudim. Lions of Yah, praise Yah with me. The righteous, Yah, the holy, Yah, the creator, Yah, the only, Yah, the righteous, Yah, the holy, Yah, the creator, Yah, the only, Yah. He is our King, our Savior, and our Judge, Yehudim. Yahweh is righteous. It's gonna be a new day. It's gonna be a new way. You must think that you're our King, Yehudim, fourth tribe ENT. It's gonna be a new day. It's the beginning of a new way. You could never be our King, Yehudim. Rap Yah with me. Oh, you could never be my King. Oh, Yehudim. For tribe ENT. Oh, it's time.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And let Yahweh be magnified. Once again, the Creator has allowed us to come before you another day, bringing to you his great, holy, and exalted words, even the words of truth. My name is Mowreh IshYAH YIsraEL of the house of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 1907 Vine Street, bringing to you nothing but the truth. And yes, it is true. All we're going to do is tell you the truth, for Yah ordained me to tell you the truth. And this is what I'm going to do. And who is this Yah? Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. Yah is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and YIsraEL, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yah is our king. He's our judge. He's our lawgiver. And Yah is our only Savior, and not just of Israel. Yah is the Savior of the world. And again, I praise the mighty Yah for allowing me to come before you this day and another day. We will finish up on the last, all week long we've been dealing with the 7 everlasting covenants that Yahweh made with Israel, with the nation of Israel, with his people. Sure, there's more covenants in the scriptures than that. But he only made 7 with the whole nation. He made covenants with the tribes individually. He made covenants with the world. But he only made 7 with the house of Israel. And there was one left that we need to deal with. But right after we deal with that last covenant, we will deal with 7 other things that Yahweh wants you to know about. And these 7 things are the 7 ways that Yahweh will redeem his people. Yahweh is so complete in his essence. He even showed us through the scriptures how he will bring about salvation, redemption, to save lives. And you will see 7 different ways that Yahweh has proposed to do it. You might ask yourself, well, why 7 ways? Really, you only need 1 way. That's why the Creator said his thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. And as far as the heaven is above the earth, so is his thoughts, so is his ways above ours. So I won't question why Yahweh would do what he would do. It is my job to show you and tell you, thus says Yahweh, whether you hear it or not. So we will deal with these 7 ways that Yahweh will redeem his people. But first we're going to deal with the last covenant that Yahweh, last everlasting covenant that Yahweh made with his people. And you will find this in the book of Jeremiah 31. And let us turn there so we can get right into it. Jeremiah 31. And yes, it is none other than the new covenant. And yes, it is the last covenant. It is the end covenant. And you're going to see why. And you're going to see why there's a bunch of imposters by various different religions that would tell you that they're under the new covenant. And this is a lie. And you're going to know it's a lie once you begin to read the words of the new covenant. And then you're going to understand why it is the last covenant, why it is the end covenant, why it is the 7th everlasting covenant. And the other thing you're going to understand is why Yahweh will would make this covenant with his people and his people only. And I don't want you to be confused by no stretch of the imagination. This is made with Israelites. And let's see what this says. In the book of Jeremiah 31, verse 31, this is what it says. Behold the covenant, behold the days come, says Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. Now you notice when Jeremiah is saying this, when Jeremiah is prophesying this, he says with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. Because Jeremiah also prophesied the return of the house of Yehudah and the house of Israel coming back together, joining together as one house. So he had to say the house of Israel and the house of Yehudah because they were divided. 32nd verse. But you also notice in that 31st verse that it didn't mention no one else. Nobody else in the world did Yahweh mention being under this new covenant. He said with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. Regardless of who you are, that's who the covenant is made with. 32nd verse. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they broke, although I was a husband to them, says Yahweh. Even though I was a husband to them and I fulfilled my obligations as a husband, they still broke my covenant. So they can't say the reason why I did these things is because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. And oftentimes, this is what we hear in relationships. Since he didn't do this, I didn't do that. Since she didn't do this, I didn't do that. Well, you still obligated to the Most High. He is your husband. And he is the one that commands, gives laws, statutes, and judgments. He is the one that you're supposed to be serving. He is your husband. So really, there is no excuse why you will not serve Yahweh. And there is no reason why you will break his covenant. Watch what it says, 33rd verse. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, says Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts. Since our people don't put it in their inward parts themselves, Yahweh said he's going to put his law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And watch the 34th verse, because you know this was not the case with the first covenant. The first covenant, we had to teach that covenant. We had to teach it to our children and our children's children, unto every generation that will come thereafter. But in the 34th verse, it says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor. So don't let a bunch of people come knocking at your door talking about the new covenant, and they teaching you the new covenant, and they're under the new covenant, Or you go to church and it's called the house of the new covenant. How you going to be under the new covenant while at the same time teaching? This is a total contradiction of the new covenant. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh. For they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, says Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So that's the new covenant. The new covenant is about the law being in your inward parts, about the law being written on your heart. The new covenant is about, as a result of it being on the inside of you, there won't be necessary for one outside of you, since you got it inside of you, to teach you to know Yahweh. Because you got it on the inside of you, where it's supposed to be. No wonder this is the last everlasting covenant. No wonder this is the seventh everlasting covenant. Because then you will become complete. Then you will become sanctified and separated in a manner in which Yahweh always wanted you separated and sanctified and blessed. In your final end, those that are escaped of Israel will be sanctified. But Yahweh lets us know what it would take for one to be under this new covenant. And let me show you what it's going to take. Because in the state of the condition that our people in today, you cannot be under this new covenant. Under the current situation, there's a couple things that have to change within you for this to become your reality. And let me show you what they are. In the book of Ezekiel, the 11th chapter, you turn there. Today, people ask me today, David returned. When David returned, King David, as you know, it talk about the return of King David. When he returned, how would he look? Well, I don't know how he would look. Will he look the same? I don't know how he looked then. How would Abraham look? Would he be old or young? How would Daniel look? Well, let me show you how you will look if Yahweh bless you. In the book of Ezekiel, the 11th chapter, this is what it says, starting 17th verse. Watch what it says. Let's start at the 16th verse so you can really see what this is talking about. 14th verse. How about that? Ezekiel 11:14. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, your brother, even your brothers, the men of your kindred, and all the house of Israel, Holy are they to whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get you far from Yahweh, unto us in this land given in possession. Therefore say, thus is Yahweh Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and this is where we are today, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. Therefore say, thus says Yahweh Elohim, I will even gather you from the people, assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. And they shall come there, and they shall take away all their detestable things thereof, and all the abominations there from there. And watch the 19th verse, because if you want to know how anybody going to look, first ask yourself, how would you look? And watch the 19th verse. And I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will take the stony heart out of their flesh, and will give them a heart of flesh, that they may walk in my statutes, keep my ordinances, and do them. And they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. In other words, as you can see, in order for this to become a reality for anyone under the new covenant, you will have to receive a new spirit, and you will have to receive a new heart. And that heart is called a heart of flesh. And if one spirit and one heart can make one sick, can make one vex, can make one look bad, their countenance, surely a new spirit and a heart of flesh can make one look different, renewed, refreshed. And this is what Yahweh will do. Giving you a new heart will make you really a new person. And a new spirit will give you a new countenance. So I don't know how they will look, but I do know you will look different than the way you look today. Furthermore, in the book of Ezekiel 36, and let's see if it's saying the same thing. In the book of Ezekiel 36, and we're talking about the new covenant, which is the last covenant. It's new because it's last. It's new because it is the seventh everlasting covenant. It is the one that needs nothing to follow afterwards. In the book of Ezekiel 36, and we're going to start reading 24th verse. This is what it says. For I will take you from among the heathen. And this is what we got to understand. This is exactly where we at. Many of our people would like to believe Yahweh is going to take us from among the heathen. A lot of our people would like to believe Yahweh will gather us out of all the countries, as it says, and will bring you into your own land. That's what it's saying. For I will take you from among the heathen, gather you out of the countries, and will bring you into your own land. But then when you begin to start asking our people when is Yahweh going to do this? I don't know. Well, you don't have no idea. Maybe 15 years, maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years. I don't know. Well, why don't you know? And watch what it says. 25th verse. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness, from all your idols, will I cleanse you. And watch the 26th verse. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. How else will you become renewed? How else can you live under the everlasting covenant of the new covenant without being restored? 27th verse. And I will put my spirit within you, and why, Yahweh, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them, and you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. I will also save you from all your uncleanness, and I will call for the corn and will increase it, and lay no famine on you. So this is what Yahweh has proposed to do under the new covenant. But this is the question that Yahweh will have for all of us in the book of Ezekiel 22. Because to reach for the stars is to reach for the new covenant. And is it something that everyone will inherit? Here it is. You have many of our people who think everybody's going to be saved. Everybody's going to be redeemed. Even though Yahweh said only a remnant. In the book of Ezekiel 22. Watch this. This little statement that Yahweh make. The 14th verse. And this is what you have to ask yourself. Ezekiel 22 and 14, it says, can your heart endure? Or can your hands be strong in the days that I shall deal with you? I, Yahweh, have spoken it and will do it. And that's what we have to ask ourselves. Can our heart endure? And can our hands be strong? Because Yahweh will bring a test upon our people like they ain't never seen. Like they ain't never been through. And the last scripture that I want you to see on the new covenant. The seventh everlasting covenant. The last covenant that Yahweh will have to make with our people. The end of the covenant. Watch what it says. Ezekiel 44. And we'll start reading at the 9th verse. And this is what it says. Thus is Yahweh, no stranger, uncircumcised in heart, nor uncircumcised in flesh, shall enter into my sanctuary of any stranger that is among the children of Israel. No stranger. And what is that letting us know? That even a stranger that desires to be a part of the house of Israel, not only he must be circumcised, but his heart must be circumcised. And no more will Yahweh allow, or no more will we be allowed, or to do what we have allowed to be done. And that is let the strangers come in, regardless of what they believe, regardless of how they served, and regardless of who they are. Yahweh will put a stop to all this, as he will put a stop to our rebelliousness, our stony heart, our stiff neck, and pride and haughtiness that we have shown him. He will put a stop to it. And how he will do that? Under the new covenant. Under the new covenant. The seventh everlasting covenant. The last covenant that Yahweh will make with his people. Also, as I stated, we will also deal with the 7 ways that Yahweh will redeem his people. And there's 7 different ways. And I know our people are not familiar with these things, but they will be familiar with these things. Look what Yahweh said in the book of Jeremiah, the 9th chapter. Starting at the 23rd verse. Thus says Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glories glory in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am Yahweh which exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yahweh. So Yahweh is letting us know what he delights in, and he also letting us know how he operates in the earth. So it's very necessary for us to understand how Yahweh has proposed and how Yahweh will redeem his people. And there's 7 different ways, but I'll just deal with one of the ways tonight. And the reason why this is number 1 is because when we discuss the other ways are founded on this way. As a matter of fact, everything that Yahweh do, and I mean everything, is predicated on this. And there's nothing that he has done that don't need this. And you'll find it in the book of Psalms 137. And this is the number one way that Yahweh would use to redeem his people. And watch what it says. The very first verse. Psalms 136, rather. I think I said 137, but it's Psalms 136. This is what it says. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. See, Yahweh is only good because his mercy endures forever. That's why he's so good. That's why everything he made was good. Because his mercy endures forever. Oh, give thanks unto the Elohim of Elohims, for his mercy endures forever. Oh, give thanks unto Yah of masters, for his mercy endures forever. To him who alone does great wonders, for his mercy endures forever. To him that by wisdom made the heavens, for his mercy endures forever. To him that stretched out the earth above the waters, for his mercy endures forever. To him that made great lights, for his mercy endures forever. The sun to rule by day, for his mercy endures forever. The moon and the stars to rule by night, for his mercy endures forever. To him that smote Egypt in their firstborn, for his mercy endures forever. And brought out Israel from among them, for his mercy endures forever. With a strong hand, with a stretched out arm, for his mercy endures forever. To him which divided the Red Sea into parts, for his mercy endures forever. And made Israel to pass through the midst of it, for his mercy endures forever. But overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for his mercy endures forever. To him which led his people through the wilderness, for his mercy endures forever. To him which smote great kings, for his mercy endures forever. And slew famous kings, for his mercy endures forever. Sihon, king of the Amorites, for his mercy endures forever. And Og, the king of Bashan, for his mercy endures forever. And gave their land for a heritage, for his mercy endures forever. Even a heritage unto Israel, his servant, for his mercy endures forever. Who remember us in our low estate, for his mercy endures forever. And has redeemed us from our enemies, for his mercy endures forever. Who gives food to all flesh, for his mercy endures forever. Oh, give thanks unto the Elohim of heaven, for his mercy endures forever. So you've given thanks to Yahweh for everything. And why? Because his mercy endures forever. And that's number one. That's the number one thing that Yahweh wants you to know about him. Everything comes through his mercy. And this is something that Yahweh will use to redeem people. But don't think he's just going to redeem everybody. Let me show you what the Creator said in the law. This is the book of the law now. In the book of Exodus 20. Because I don't want you to think his mercy is extended to everybody. That's the way it seemed. That's the way it looked. That's why there's 7 different ways where Yahweh will redeem. Some things we just don't know about Yahweh. And we just think we know, so we'll say certain things, but we really don't know. What's the covenant itself? And we just got finished talking about the covenant. And one of his 7 everlasting covenant, which was the second everlasting covenant. Watch what it says in the book of Exodus 20. Fourth verse. This is the second commandment. You shall not make to you any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh your Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me. And watch the 6th verse. And showing mercy to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Because Yahweh's mercy is always about serving him. Yahweh's mercy is all about the truth. Many of the scriptures you will read about Yahweh's mercy, it would frequently read because of his mercy and his truth. Because really his mercy and his truth is inseparable. You only have the truth because of his mercy. And you only have his mercy because of the truth. They're inseparable. And this is how Yahweh will extend his mercy to you, to the extent that he will save you. Let me show you this. Show you how powerful the mercies of Yah is. We talk about this mercy, but we really don't know much about it. We just talk about it. But let me show you. In the book of Psalm 6. And we're talking about, now that we concluded on these 7 everlasting covenants that Yahweh made with his people Israel, now we're talking about and discussing the 7 ways that Yahweh will redeem his people. In the book of Psalms, the 6th chapter, watch what it says. And we're going to read verse 1. O Yahweh, rebuke me not in your anger, neither chasten me in your hot displeasure. And of course, Yahweh is displeased with us. And when Yahweh is displeased with you, what is the first thing you're going to be looking for as a result of his displeasure? Watch what it says. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh, for I am weak. O Yahweh, heal me, for my bones are troubled. My soul is also greatly troubled. But you, O Yahweh, how long? Return, O Yahweh, deliver my soul. O save me for your mercy's sake. Not for my sake, Yahweh. Not for anything in me, Yahweh, but save me for your mercy's sake, Yahweh. Because we think Yahweh's mercy's sake has something to do with us. No, it has everything to do with Yahweh and his mercies. That's why we have to learn about his mercies. For in death, there is no remembrance of you. In the grave, who shall give you thanks? I am weary with my groaning. All night make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. My eye is consumed because of grief. It grows old because of all my enemies. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity, for Yahweh has heard the voice of my weeping. And then our people, instead of calling upon Yahweh and crying out to Yahweh, they will try to take matters in their own hand when all they have to do is call upon Yah and depend on his mercies. Yahweh has heard my supplication. Yahweh will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. Talking about the mercies of Yahweh, which is number one. The number one way Yahweh will redeem. Through his great mercies. And why? Because his mercies touch everything. His whole creation is because of his mercy's sake. Watch this in Psalm 44. In the book of Psalm 44, and I'll start reading at the 23rd verse. Awake, why sleep you, O Yahweh? And they know Yahweh is not asleep. They just know he's not answering them. Arise, cast us not off forever. And you see how our people of ancient time, they would acknowledge, they would admit that Yahweh is not answering them. But our people will go around, walking around today, faking the funk as if Yahweh is answering them. Well, if Yahweh is answering you, then why are we in the same pitiful condition that we find ourselves in for 400 years? Watch what it says. Why hide your face and forget our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust. Our belly clings to the earth. Arise for our help and redeem us for your mercy's sake. This is something you really want to know about and learn about. Yahweh say, don't glory in your might. Don't glory in your wisdom. Don't glory in your riches. But if you want to glory in anything, you want to glory in the fact that you know him. And if you don't know anything about Yahweh's mercies, then you're in big trouble. Because you want to know, how do you receive the mercies of Yahweh? You don't receive the mercies of Yahweh just by happenstance. You want to know about this mercy and how to appeal to this mercy and how to receive this mercy. Also in the book of Genesis, watch this. Genesis 19. We're talking about the mercies of Yahweh and how his mercies touch everything. In the book of Genesis 19. Starting at the 17th verse. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for your life. Look not behind you. This is what the angels who went to Sodom and Gomorrah said to Lot and his family. Neither stay you in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest you be consumed. And Lot said to them, oh, not so, my master. Behold, now your servant has found grace in your sight, and you have magnified your mercy, which you have shown to me in saving my life. Because that's what Yahweh will do with his mercy. He will save your life. He will redeem you. This is the number one way you do it. And why did he show him his mercy? Because he had found grace in his sight. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee to, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape there, and my soul shall live. And he said to him, see, I've accepted you concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for which you have spoken, because it was going to be overthrown. Haste you, escape there, for I cannot do anything till you have come there. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then Yahweh rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahweh out of heaven. See, this is what Yahweh would do for his mercy's sake. And we want to know about this mercy's sake. And we want to be a part of Yahweh's mercy's sake. But you don't just get there any kind of way. You don't receive it by doing any kind of thing. But this is one of the ways, the first way, the top way, the head honcho way that Yahweh will use to redeem you. In the book of Genesis 24, I want you to see this also. In the book of Genesis, the 24th chapter, and we'll start reading the 15th verse. Watch what it says. And it came to pass, before he had finished speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well, filled her pitcher, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray you, drink a little water from your pitcher. And she said, drink, my master. And she heard and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. And when she had finished giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels also, until they have finished drinking. And she heard and emptied her pitcher into the trough, ran again to the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace to know whether Yahweh had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had finished drinking, that the man took a golden earring, a half a shekel weight, 2 bracelets for her hands, 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter are you? Tell me, I pray you, is there room in your father's house for us to lodge in? And she said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bore to Nahor. She said, Moreover to him, we have both strong feet enough and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head, worshiped Yahweh, and said, Blessed be Yahweh Elohim of my master Abraham, who has not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, Yahweh led me to the house of my master's brothers. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things, because it was only Yahweh's mercy. And I told you, you'll see his truth also, one and the same. But it was Yahweh's mercy that led him to this house. So when we begin to find Yahweh's secrets, that's his mercy. When we stumble up on something, we ain't stumbling up on nothing. Yahweh's mercy led us to the things that we're led to. The good things that we will do. The great things that we will be a part of. The very sacrifices that we will make. It was all because of Yahweh's mercy. And why would Yahweh do this for his mercy's sake? Because some way you have found favor in his sight. Yahweh has no pleasure in the death of the wicked. But his pleasure is in that the wicked turn from his evil ways and do that which is lawful and right. And so Yahweh is always ready and prepared to extend his mercy. As a matter of fact, it is the only way one can live. And it's definitely the only way you can live in his presence. Without his mercy, you will not be able to live in the presence of Yahweh. Watch what Yahweh will do for his people as a result of his mercy. In the book of Exodus 25. And we're talking about the 7 ways that Yahweh will redeem his people. And the number 1 way is through his mercy. It's not the only way, but every other way contains his mercy. But Yahweh, his thoughts is higher than our thoughts. His ways is higher than our ways. And you have to know how Yahweh has proposed to save. In the book of Exodus 25, watch what this says. The first verse. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they bring me an offering Of every man that gives it willingly with his heart, you shall take my offering. And this is the offering which you shall take of them: gold and silver and brass, blue, purple, scarlet, fine linen, and goat's hair, ram skin dyed red, badger skin, and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show you, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall you make it. And they shall make an altar of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half for the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And you shall overlay it with pure gold. Within and without shall you overlay it, and shall make upon it a crown of gold round about. And you shall cast 4 rings of gold for it. Put them in the 4 corners thereof. 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, 2 rings shall be in the other side of it. And you shall make staffs of shittim wood, overlay them with gold. And you shall put the staffs into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. The staffs shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And you shall put into the ark the testimony which I give you. And this is where the part that I really want you to see. And you shall make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, a cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And you shall make 2 cherubims of gold. Of beaten work shall you make them. And the 2 ends of the mercy seat, make 1 cherub on the one end, another cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings. And their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. And you shall put the mercy seat above upon the ark. And in the ark you shall put the testimony that I shall give you. And there I will meet with you. And I will speak with you from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims, which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I give you in commandment to the children of Israel. You shall also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and of a cubit the breadth thereof, a cubit and a half the height thereof. And you shall overlay it with pure gold. Make thereto a crown of gold round about. And you shall make unto it a border of a hand breadth round about. And you shall make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. But why do Yahweh want all this done? Show you why the Creator want this mercy seat done. We see here in the 21st verse, or the 22nd verse, And there I will meet with you, and I will speak with you from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubim which is upon the ark of the testimony of all things, which I will give you in commandment to the children of Israel. Now watch this on the same note, just so you can see this. Why else would Yahweh want you to do this thing? And then you can understand what Yahweh's mercy is really all about. One second. One verse I want you to see. All right, here we go in the book of Leviticus, the 16th chapter. In the book of Leviticus, the 16th chapter, this is what it says. And we're going to start reading we'll start at the very first verse, or the second verse. And Yahweh said to Moshe, speak to Aaron, your brother, that he comes not at all times into the holy place, within a veil before the mercy seat, which is upon the ark, that he dies not. For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. In other words, Yahweh saying, look, this is where I'm going to come to you at. This is where I'm going to speak to you from. This is where I'm going to visit you. So make sure that he don't come in this place at any time. The only time that he can come in here is only one time. And he's going to let you know when that one time is. And he's going to tell you how he has to even approach the mercy seat. And what is a mercy seat? In other words, it's just a seat where Yahweh will come to speak to his people. But in order for him to do so, he must extend his mercy. Third verse, thus shall Aaron come into the holy place with a young bullock for a sin offering, a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen coat. He shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, shall be girded with linen girdle, with linen turban shall he be attired. These are holy garments. Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. And he shall take of the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goat for a sin offering, 1 ram for a burnt offering. And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself for his house. He shall take the 2 goats, present them before Yahweh at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the two goats, one lot for Yahweh, the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which Yahweh's lot fell, offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yahweh, to make an atonement with him, and to let him go for a scapegoat in the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, make an atonement for himself and for his house, shall kill the bullock for the sin offering which is for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar before Yahweh, and his hands full of sweet incense beaten small, bring it within a veil. He shall put the incense upon the fire before Yahweh, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he dies not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock, sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward. Before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering, that is for the people. Bring his blood within a veil. Do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock. Sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, because of their transgression and all their sins. And so shall he do for the tabernacle of the uncleanness of the congregation that remains among them in the midst of their uncleanness. And there shall no man in the tabernacle of the congregation, when he goes in to make an atonement in the holy place, until he comes out. He has made atonement for himself, his household, and for the congregation of YIsraEL. And this is why Yahweh has this mercy seat. And we'll expedite it and go down to the 29th verse. And there shall be a statute forever unto you, that in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall afflict your souls. Do no work at all, whether it is one of your own country or a stranger that sojourns among you. For in the day shall the priest make an atonement for you to cleanse you, that you may be clean from all your sins before Yahweh. It shall be a Sabbath of rest to you, and you shall afflict your souls by a statute forever. And the priest whom he shall anoint, and whom he shall consecrate to minister in the priest's office in his father's stead, shall make the atonement, and shall put on the linen garments, even the holy garments. And he shall make an atonement for the holy sanctuary, shall make an atonement for the tabernacle of the congregation, for the altar, shall he make an atonement for the priest, and all the people of the congregation. This shall be an everlasting statute unto you, to make an atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year. And he did as Yahweh commanded. So in other words, this mercy seat is exactly doing the very thing that Yahweh wanted to do in delivering and redeeming his life. Because that's the only way Yahweh could allow us to be in his presence. It has to be done through his mercy's sake. And not just for him. Watch what Yahweh will even do for Moses in the book of Exodus. Because there are certain special instructions that one have to do in order for them to be in Yahweh's presence. You just can't walk into Yahweh's presence and as if he's another man. No. You have to go through some type of special preparations to be in Yahweh's presence. Even though he's Yahweh. And there's nothing too hard for Yahweh. And watch what it says in the book of Exodus 33. And we'll start reading at the 11th verse. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe face to face as a man speaks to his friend. And he turned again into the camp, but his servant Joshua, son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, see, you say to me, bring up this people, and you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray you, if I found grace in your sight, as Lot did, as Abraham did, as Noah did, show me now your way, that I may know you, that I may find grace in your sight, and consider that this nation is your people. And he said, my presence shall go with you, and I will give you rest. And he said to him, if your presence go not with me, carry us not up away. For wherein shall it be known here that I and your people have found grace in your sight? Is it not in that you go with us? So shall we be separated, I and your people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh said to Moshe, I will do this thing also that you have spoken, for you have found grace in my sight, and I know you by name. And he said, I beseech you, show me your glory. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before you. And watch what it says. And I will proclaim the name of Yahweh before you, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. Because this is Yahweh's mercy. He knows he has to show this in order for him to do this thing. And he said, you cannot see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. And Yahweh said, behold, watch the special instruction. There's a place by me, and you shall stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passes by, that I will put you in the cleft of the rock, will cover you with my hand while I pass by, and I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen. And why? Because that's where his glory comes from. And the only way he's able to show this, the only way he's able to bless Moses in this, is first he must extend his mercy. Watch what it says in Exodus 34. Because really this is the law. It's part of the law. (34:1). And Yahweh said to Moshe, hew you 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And I will write upon these tables the words that were in the first tables which you broke. And be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning to the mount, into Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come up with you, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount. Neither let the flocks nor herds feed before the mount. And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moshe rose up early in the morning, went up to the Mount Sinai as Yahweh had commanded him, and took in his hand 2 tables of stone. And Yahweh descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. And Yahweh passed by before him and proclaimed, Yahweh, Yahweh Elohim, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and in truth, keeping mercies for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will be by no means clearly guilty, visiting iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the children's children, to the third and to the fourth generation. Because this is what Yahweh would do for his mercy's sake. And it is Yahweh's mercy's sake, which is number one. The number one thing that everyone will need in order for them to be redeemed and saved. So it is quite necessary for everyone to learn about this mercy. Let me show you something in the book of Proverbs. And our people don't know enough about Yahweh's mercy. They don't understand how Yahweh is redeeming them. Watch what it says in the book of Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. The first verse. My son, forget not my law. Now, why did he say his law? Because according to the scriptures, his law is the truth. And watch what you will see with the truth. But let your heart keep my commandments, for length of days and long life and peace shall they add to you. 3rd verse. Let not mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them about your neck. What do you bind upon your neck? His mercy and his truth. Write them upon the table of your heart. What? His mercy and his truth. So shall you find favor and good understanding in the sight of Elohim and man. And did not Yahweh let us know? Did not Yahweh tell us that we're not to glory in our own riches? Don't glory in our own wisdom. Don't glory in our own might. But let him that glory in this, that he know and understand me, that I execute loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight in. And Yahweh is showing you his great delight. And you cannot be redeemed. You cannot be saved. You cannot receive the abundant blessings of Yahweh without his mercy. His mercy is essential for us to receive his truth, life, peace, and most importantly, everlasting life. We must know and receive Yahweh's mercy. And it's the number one of the 7 because it is the very thing that will help you to be able to see where you're going. Because without keeping Yahweh's commandments, how can you then expect Yahweh's mercy? Without humbling yourself before Yahweh, how then can you receive Yahweh's mercy? Without walking in the path of righteousness, how then can you receive Yahweh's mercy? Without finding favor in the sight of Yahweh, how can you then receive his great mercies? There's 7 ways that Yahweh will redeem his people. And the number 1 way is through his mercy. That's number 1. And over the course, from today on through the weekend, we will deal with the 7 different ways that Yahweh will redeem his people. And we want you to study his mercy because that's where it all begins. You only had light because of his mercy, because all there was darkness. You had no breath
90 seconds
outside of his mercies. As a matter of fact, you don't have nothing. The heavens was only made because of his mercy. So for his mercy's sake, we can be saved. Not for your sakes. Not for any righteousness that's in you.
60
Not
seconds.
for the thing that you're doing. Because your path is only led by his mercy. So acknowledge Yahweh for his mercy's sake, so that Yahweh can bless you, so Yahweh can redeem you, so Yahweh can save you, that you might have favor in his sight. So until tomorrow, Yahweh loves you, and so do I. Shalom.
10 seconds.
Fourth Tribe Entertainment. It's gonna be a new day. It's gonna be a new way. You must think that you're our king. Yehuda, Fourth Tribe ENT. It's gonna be a new day. It's the beginning of a new way. You could never be our king. Yehuda, rep Yah with me. It's the dawn of 400 years. 400 years since we shed our first tears. 400 years since my ancestors slain. 400 years since we all knew his name. 400 in this land, Babylon, the bases of many kings. Yah's name is gone. We are the mighty Yehuda. Lions of Yah, praise Yah with me. The righteous, Yah, the holy, Yah, the creator, Yah, the only, Yah, the righteous, Yah, the holy, Yah, the creator, Yah, the only, Yah. He is our King, our Savior, and our Judge, YAH'S Yahweh is righteous. He is our King, our Savior, and our Judge, YAH'S Yahweh is righteous.